আসসালামু আলাইকুম। রাত 10:30 নাশিদ রহমান আপনাদের আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি টিভি3 বাংলার আজকের অনুষ্ঠানে। আমরা আজকে টিভি3 বাংলার ট্রেনিং এবং লাইফ স্কিলস এই বিষয়ে আলোচনা করব। সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আপনারা জানেন যে সেপ্টেম্বর মাস থেকে বাধ্যতামূলকভাবে সারা বিলেতে স্কুল শুরু হচ্ছে। এটা দীর্ঘ ৬ মাস বন্ধ ছিল। মার্চ থেকে বন্ধ হয়েছে। লকডাউনের জন্য বন্ধ হয়ে যাচ্ছে। কিছু স্কুল অল্পভাবে সীমিতভাবে খুলেছিল। কিন্তু বাধ্যতামূলকভাবে শুরু হচ্ছে সেপ্টেম্বর মাস থেকে। এখানে বেশ কিছু পরীক্ষার বিষয় আছে। এখানে ছাত্রদের স্বাস্থ্যের বিষয় আছে, স্যাটস পরীক্ষার বিষয় আছে, 11+ পরীক্ষার বিষয় আছে এবং ইম্পর্টেন্স অফ এডুকেশন অ্যান্ড স্কুলের হেলথ অ্যান্ড হাইজিনের বিষয় আছে। আমাদের নিয়মিত অতিথি আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাই আমাদের সাথে জয়েন করবেন এবং জয়েন করবেন আমাদের আরেকজন মেহমান। আমরা প্রথমে চলে যাচ্ছি আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাইয়ের কাছে। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
How are you, brother?
I'm fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Alhamdulillah.
Okay. Actually, I could not go to office today to present.
Ah,
So go to register. Got some mouth infection. Today we're going to talk about rote learning. I got somebody, the head of operation, and she is born in Essex. Also went to schools in UK, I think Institute of Education, where she did have PGC in English teaching. And at the time, Institute of Education was #1 in the whole world in delivering teaching
Alhamdulillah.
courses. Also, she had a degree from SOAS, I think School of African and Oriental Studies in Russell Square. She's a very talented woman, and she is the head of operation of rote learning because she's the right person. She designed everything, and she's delegating everything to every teacher to run training for our children. The reason why you call this rote
And
learning,
she's also a PGC qualified teacher.
PGC, not only PGC, she's a very talented woman.
Alhamdulillah.
She translates Quran in English in so many ways because she could
SOAS is very close to my heart. SOAS is a School of Oriental and African Studies.
Yes,
SOAS is Oriental and African. My father did his PhD in early 70s from SOAS. So I have so many friends, they are graduated and have PhD from SOAS. So SOAS is very close to my heart.
Well, that's so because your root is strong, and that's why you're in here today. So it's all about root.
Let me welcome Sister Fatiha Begum. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you for the introduction, Abdul Haq, and thank you, brother, for having me today on your program. I'm very happy to be here.
I'd like to welcome you in TV3 in our platform. We like to discuss about the importance of education. Importance of education in early period of life. Sister, you are firstly educated, you have training, and you are running the rote learning business, and you're disseminating education, information, and awareness among the young British citizens. So could you please describe in your introductory speech, what is the essence of education in early life, sister?
Okay. Well, first of all, I would like to share with you my experience of the education because of the education which I was really blessed to go through, and the opportunities that were given to me because of my education. I have to say that it has led me to where I am today. So the journey really did start from my primary school years, and I will tell you truthfully, in all honesty, that was the most important time of my life, being in a primary setting where I had teachers who were, to me, they were awe-inspiring. They inspired me a lot. They became my role models in my life. And I have to say, during the time of lockdown, I didn't really connect with many people from my past, but there was one teacher who was very dear to me in primary school, and I wrote a letter to her, and I'll tell you, she was my second mum, because she put into me a belief that if I pursue something, then I can achieve it. And she did it in a way that was really inspirational. So I think one of the main purposes of education is to have a role model which who can lead you on a path, and then the education becomes autonomous. You try to learn for yourself, investigate for yourself, and that is really the key to education, a person to have inside them a passion and motivation to learn. Hope that answers the question. But the
Absolutely.
importance of education, I believe, is the basis of having a life which is successful.
Sister, in your age, in my age, or Abdul Haque Bhai's age, we understand the importance of education, how we can transfer this understanding to a youngster, a boy of 5, 6, 7, or 10, sister.
Yes, if you look at the society today, education system has really been neglected, especially in our society.
Yes,
I have lived through, I was born here and I lived through the education, and I can tell you 100% that the teaching standards have gone down. The caliber of the teachers as well is not as high as it was. So children don't have something to grasp, which is something that is a strong role model or a strong inspiration for them to grasp onto. So there is a systematic problem, number one, which we don't really have any control over. But how to translate that and translate the importance of education, because it's not coming from the top, where the policymakers, the teachers, the head teachers are not, they're not in the job. Some of them, many of them are, I have to say, but some of the institutions are not performing and not instilling, what's the word? Not instilling a bright future for the young people. So that is something which parents, guardians, people in society will have to know that it is their job to be that person. Because if you know, brother, when I was growing up in the 1980s, my parents, they didn't know a word of English. All the people around me who were my guardians, my adults in my life, they were struggling in the community because they were starting their life.
Sister,
And
I
they
have a
were,
question. Who
yeah,
was your role model at
my
your young
teachers.
age?
My
Teachers.
teacher, like I said to you, she inspired me, my teacher, because we had a language barrier even with our parents, because Bengali became, even though we attended Bengali schools, we tried to learn as much as we could of Bengali, but English overtook our lives. So our primary way of communication became English. So we were very fortunate that our teachers didn't label us. They didn't discriminate against us. They really treated us, I would say, out of love and out of respect for even my parents as well, even to us. So some of the perceptions have changed within society, where people are not looking at the deprived or looking at a different social class or a background, ethnic minority. They don't look at them in a way of respect, I would say. So for that reason, sometimes they get overlooked. And because of that, our community, and I really passionately believe for myself that this is my path, that I want to inspire our people from our ethnic minority backgrounds to know that we are equal in this society, that we can achieve as much as the next person and even better. And so that my role model was my teacher. So that unfortunately is not the case in schools, because you have a high
Absolutely.
you have a high rate of turnover of teachers. Teachers don't stay in one place as they used to. Children, they can't build trust, and they can't build an open communication with them. However, the strength that we have nowadays is that our parents are educated. Like, most of the kids who are going into schools now have parents who know how to speak English. Many of them, I would say, not most of them, many of them, they have been through the education system themselves. They know more or less the rite of passage, how it works. So that is our stronghold. So we need to inspire, not the children you will inspire, but firstly we need to inspire the parents to tell them that you need to see potential in your child, and you need to push your child, and you need to have a position with your child where you want to you expect something great from them. Because many parents, they sail through their life thinking the education system is bringing up their children. They're teaching them everything. The education system is showing them what is right and wrong, but the reality is not the case. We have lots of behavioral problems in our mainstream schools, and this behavior problem is overtaking some of the learning, and many of the students find that they end up learning by themselves, independently, in their own time. And because I have worked in mainstream schools for many years, and it has become very, very challenging to work in those settings, where some students, they don't have motivation to be there, and they don't have an aspiration and inspiration to go far, which is very unfortunate. And this comes from parents. If parents sit down and from a young age, like Abdul Haque has done, and like myself, we always put the importance of education first. Then naturally the child will have a certain motivation towards education. I hope I'm not speaking too much.
Absolutely fine.
Okay.
Sister,
Can I?
our caller may call. Feel free. You can speak or answer in English. You can speak in Sileti. Please feel free, sister. সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আমাদের সাথে দুজন মেহমান আছেন, আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাই এবং বোন ফাতিহা বেগম। ওনারা দুজন আজকে শিক্ষার মূল্য কি, স্যাটস এবং 11+ এই দুটো বিষয়ে আলোচনা করবেন। রুট লার্নিং এর দায়িত্বে আছেন ফাতিহা বেগম। উনি উচ্চ শিক্ষিত, লন্ডন ইউনিভার্সিটি সোয়াস থেকে উনি গ্রাজুয়েশন করেছেন, পিজিডি করেছেন, এবং শিক্ষার উপরে ওনার ট্রেনিং এবং প্রশিক্ষণ আছে। দীর্ঘ 15 বছরের অভিজ্ঞতায় উনি সমাজে শিক্ষাদান করছেন, মেইন স্ট্রিম শিক্ষা প্রতিষ্ঠানে ছিলেন, এবং উনি রোল মডেল হিসেবে ওনার জীবন বর্ণনা করেছেন যে 80-র দশকে বড় হচ্ছিলেন, ভাষাগত সমস্যা ছিল, ওনার বাবা মারা অতটা ইংরেজিতে অভিজ্ঞ ছিলেন না, তার মধ্যেও তিনি গ্রাজুয়েট করেছেন, পড়াশোনা করেছেন, শিক্ষার ব্রত হিসাবে শিক্ষা বিস্তার করছেন। আপনারা 0122739292 এই নম্বরে ফোন করে তার প্রজন্মের একজন রোল মডেল ফাতিহা বেগম আপার সাথে কথা বলতে পারেন আমাদের নিয়মিত অতিথি আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাইয়ের কাছে। আমি যাচ্ছি আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাইয়ের কাছে। আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাই, আমি আপনাকে সহজ একটা প্রশ্ন। আজকে আমার বোন যে ফাতিহা বেগম, তার প্রজন্মের সবাই কিন্তু তার মতো ফাইট করে আসতে পারেনি। তিনি এডুকেশন নিয়ে ফাইট করেছে, তিনি সোসাইটির রেসিজমের সাথে ফাইট করেছে, তিনি ডেপ্রাইভেশনের সাথে ফাইট করেছে। আমাদের কিন্তু এটা হতে হবে। আজকের প্রজন্ম, এই জেনারেশন অনেক লাকি। আপনাদের মতো প্যারেন্টস আছে, এডুকেটেড প্যারেন্টস আছে, ফাতিহা আপার মতো তার প্রজন্মে সলিসিটার, ব্যারিস্টার, ডাক্তার, অ্যাকাউন্টেন্ট, টিচার, সিভিল সার্ভেন্ট আছে। তাদের বাপ মা পেয়েছে, তার অনেক এগিয়ে যাওয়ার কথা। কিন্তু আমরা কি দেখছি যে আমাদের বর্তমান যে নেক্সট জেনারেশন, তাদের এডুকেশনে যে আমাদের ফাতিহা আপা বললেন, ওই ইন্সপিরেশনটা নেই। অনেকে গেম খেলছে, খেলাধুলা করছে, ড্রাগে চলে যাচ্ছে, পড়াশোনা করছে না, বাবা মার কথা শুনছে না। এখানে ইম্পর্টেন্স অফ এডুকেশন, রোল মডেল যে ফাতিহা আপা বললেন। আমি একটু কলটা নিয়ে আপনার কাছে আসি ইনশাআল্লাহ।
That's fine.
প্লিজ কলার। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
Walaikum salam. I just wondering that when should my child do the 11th class firstly, And secondly, what is the difference between sets and 11 plus?
Okay, Fatiha, please.
And when should I take, once my kids should take 11 plus and sets, and where, as, when, actually? I would like to know.
Okay, so SATs is the generic examination which takes place mandatory for every child in year 6, and it normally takes place in the summer term at the end of their learning in year 6, towards the end, about May time, May after Easter. The preparation, the school, obviously, they've been preparing for SATs exams from Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2, but primarily they are examining the Key Stage 2 area of their learning. And what this SATs exams compose of are the English paper, reading paper, writing paper, and for maths, it's a calculator paper and a non-calculator paper. Now, what happens is many parents, they feel, especially people who are not very keen on examinations, try not to put pressure on their children to prepare for exams. However, as a teacher and as a person who I've been through a lot of the exam process, the earlier you start talking about exams with children, the better it is, because a child can accustom themselves to learning and preparing for exams, even from the infant stage of the primary school years. So having the conversation with them about preparation is key from parents. And the preparation for SATs, I told you, starts from year 3 and above. Now, the 11 plus exam, the 11 plus is a set of exams which are not mandatory. You do not have to allow your child to do these exams. These are exams for grammar school entrance exams. So students who wish, or parents that want their children to be educated in a grammar setting, must apply for these schools and the students must sit these exams. And these exams, some of them are not taught in the primary school setting. So for these tests, you would need to get extra tuition or extra teaching hours for students to prepare themselves. So from
is it private paying extra tuition, sister? That extra tuition, is it private paying?
Yes, because the schools, the government does not take responsibility of parents taking their students to grammar schools. This is entirely a choice, and for that reason, there's no funding. You have to go through.
So, sister, is it the correct statement on the screen that 11 plus is since 1960 for comprehensive education, and STEPS is between 1991 and 95? They introduced this one between 7 and 11. Is it correct statement?
Respectfully, because yes, because if you look at the history of the education system in this country, it was very
segmented.
Yes, that's right. So you had comprehensive, you had technical ones, technical schools. Then you had the state schools, comprehensive. They were based on ability, okay? So nowadays, our schools are not based on ability. Every child, because of the act, every child matters, and education.
Sister, our caller is still in the line. So
yes,
what is your advice regarding his children?
So I was saying to the brother, for 11 plus, you need to really start from year 4, year 3, 4, as early as you can, really, to prepare them for the exam style. And these exams are very timed accurately. So you need to, introduce them to test papers which are timed. And with the 11 plus, I don't know who is aware, but I'll explain to you. The 11 plus has an English paper, a verbal reasoning paper, a non-verbal reasoning paper, and a maths paper. So some schools do it differently, but these 4 subjects are the main subjects that they will test an individual.
Brother, do you have any supplementary question to your sister Fatiha?
Yes, brother.
Brother, do you have any question?
Yes, I just wondering that what sort of score need 11 plus to get into the grammar school? Basically, I think the exam is 100 points, as far as I know, and how much my kids need to achieve to get into the grammar school.
Yes, every grammar school, I know that it says 100 is the target line. However, some schools have got their own exam process, so they don't use the baseline, which is recommended. So some schools, what they do, I know of one school, which is based in Edmonton, grammar school, they will not do all of those exams. They will do verbal reasoning, a maths paper, and the English paper. The school themselves will design that paper and give all the marks for that paper, and the school themselves will mark that paper. So because of that, every parent will need to investigate and find out from the schools that they wish to apply for how the marking process is, and what the exam process, what the exam situation is. Because unless you are applying through a borough, for example, the Essex borough, they do one exam for all the grammar schools, most of the grammar schools in one area. So if you're doing it like that, then you have to go through a company, which is, you'll find it on the website. You can buy the papers, you can download all the information. And really, it's all about the parent themselves getting all the information for themselves, reading about it, and starting the journey, because it's a journey for the parents as well as the students. You can't just think my child will be doing the test and I have nothing to do with it. This brother is asking really good questions. So you can see
sister,
that.
I have a supplementary question I am to add with my brother. So it's different from grammar school to grammar school.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Thank you.
That's right. Yeah, you have to look at every grammar school has a system of how they carry out their examinations, and you'll have to look at their website.
Whether there is any catchment area for the grammar school?
Right, the main catchment areas in London, there's a handful of grammar schools. Many of them are based in Kent, Essex area. Some in central London. There are some I think there are some in central London. There are some in the Redbridge area, and Edmonton. There's another one. So we don't have.
What is the catchment area for like Redbridge or Kent or Essex or central London? What's the catchment area?
You have to every catchment area. What that means is your address has to fall into a certain zone of around the school itself. So if your address does not fall into the catchment area, unfortunately, it's not a great possibility that your child will get accepted. However, there are many parents, they want their children to still sit the exam 11 plus to enhance their academic ability. So it's not for their child to enter the grammar school because they know they don't fall into the catchment area. If they don't fall into the catchment area, the most likelihood is they will not get a place. So every school, you need to look at catchment area. However, there are some schools which do not consider catchment area. They will just look at ability. They will just look at your exam results and your ability, and they will accept you for that. So though many of them are in the Kent area, so a lot of these schools, anyone can apply to those ones. And what many parents do is they apply, the child sits the exam, if they get a chance, and they very likely that they will go to that school, the parents most likely move addresses, they move and live nearer to the school. However, if you fall into the catchment area and your address is fine for a lot of the other schools, then you will have to, you will look at how to travel there once your child gets.
Do you have any other question to sister or brother Abdul Haque?
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your help.
Abdul Haque bhai, please.
If you just give me a bit of chance to speak about the importance of education. I mean, both of you speaking English, I'll try to speak Bengali as well. Honestly speaking, education is everything. It's the continuous process of development. If you look at the most powerful, the richest nation in the earth, the United States, they've got more college and university, the top business school in the world, all of them in the USA. If you look at Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia, one of the country, they had communal fighting at the civil war for so many years. They did not face any starvation because they had about over 90% people educated. So education, end of the day, one of the important thing about education is it's eliminate poverty. In Bangladesh, they're developing a bit well because they're educating, I think, a bit better than before. And they are gaining knowledge also entering the world market. So if you look at the income as well, suppose if you get a graduation from the university, if you get a MBA degree from the University of Cambridge, probably you work for a merchant bank, you start with £100,000 per annum. If you got an MBA degree from a state college, probably don't get even a job in Sainsbury's management. So it's all about good setting. 11 plus, I would not think that everyone get a chance to get chance to go to 11 plus examination. What they can do, they will improve their literacy and numeracy. End of the literacy is very, very important. And I found from my practical experience dealing with the community, lots of Bengali children, not only Bengali, lots of Asian students going to top university in London. When they write something, most of the time, they don't make any sense. They got lots of weakness in their literacy. And therefore, it's very important for your children to learn literacy at the root level. Gasor the lafna guita to shokto, it was shokto yote, Tokon Tufana Tavanigretare, Balia Falai to Farana, because root is very strong. The primary education is very, very important. If they become smart at the stage, if they achieve all the potential, they will be fit for the world, and they will do very well in the future. Like Darwin used to say, what do you call them? Jara fetus erai apnar ticket
survival of fittest. Survival of fittest.
Survival of fittest. Lagi apnar deki Bangla ta word ase deki shoge gulo dan bane. Jamon, you came from the top university in Bangladesh, Dhaka University. That's why you're doing very good job. All after Dhaka is 11 plus they go to very good college university and they lead the nation. Like you have a chance for you should try for it. Well, I just give you one example of my close friend who is an accountant. He tried too hard for his son to get a chance to a grammar school in Canterbury, but he could not get a chance. But what he found, because of his practice, he did very well in his SET examination. যেহেতু একটা লাগি ট্রাই করছেন তার অন্যভাবে না হইছে SET হলো ন্যাশনাল এক্সামিনেশন যদিও পাইছেন না 11 প্লাস মানে গ্রামার স্কুল চান্স but he did very well because of hard work. It contributed to achieve good grade in his SET examination. Further importance we look at health benefits. If you look at now, last time I was watching a BBC program, and they're showing people in the same road. One part of the postcode is people who don't have that much qualification. They live in poverty. They're earning 12,000 less than people of the other side of the road because the other part of the road are highly educated. So if you're educated, I mean, Bangla Shikkara money holtaroba. And only you can get very good education, success in the foreseeable future if your root is strong. And that's why I put my combined root learning. So it makes your children learning at the very beginning of their life. It's the parents' duties and responsibility to push their children. And somebody talking about video games. I had one of my learners today, one of the parents, mom and dad, they're complaining about the children. They spend so many hours with video games because of the COVID-19 restrictions. They couldn't go outside. So therefore it's very important parents should communicate with them, behave them in such a way, in a friendly manner, give them some sort of alternative so that they can engage themselves and do not damage their heart and eye power by engaging themselves with video games. Further importance, economic growth. Economy, if you just look at America, they're controlled by large corporations. They got big business, and their education system is more higher than us. And that's why they write a software, Uber, and they could take billion from UK. They write a software called Deliveroo. They take billion from UK. So what somebody write a software and they control the trade of the world. If you are top in terms of education, in science, technology, innovation. If you control education, if you got to high of the education system, if you innovate everything, then you control the trade. If you control the trade, you control the world. It's very quite simple.
সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আমাদের সাথে আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাই এবং ফাতিহা বেগম বোন আছেন। আমরা দুজন আজকে ইম্পর্টেন্স অফ এডুকেশন নিয়ে আলোচনা করছি। ফাতিহা বেগম আপা অত্যন্ত সুন্দরভাবে স্যাটস এবং 11+ কেন প্রয়োজন, কোথায় প্রয়োজন, কে পড়বে, পার্থক্য কি, ক্যাচমেন্ট এরিয়া কি, বাবা মা এবং বাচ্চাদের একসাথে লার্নিং প্রসেসটা কেন যায় ব্যাখ্যা করেছেন। আমাদের সময় হচ্ছে ছোট্ট বিরতিতে যাওয়ার। বিরতির পর আমরা ফাতিহা বেগম আপা এবং আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাইকে নিয়ে আসবো। আপনারা 01227392972 নম্বরে ফোন করে বিশেষ করে ফাতিহা আপার কাছ থেকে স্যাটস এবং 11+ পরীক্ষা বাচ্চারা কিভাবে প্রিপারেশন নেবে এবং ইম্পর্টেন্স অফ এডুকেশন বিষয়ে আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাই এবং ফাতিহা আপার কাছে জানতে পারেন। যাচ্ছি ছোট্ট বিরতিতে।
Are you a first-time property buyer? Are you a homeowner looking to raise funds from your property? Are you looking for better mortgage deals? Look no further. Binaco Financial Services is the answer. From residential mortgage to commercial mortgage, Islamic mortgage, or limited company mortgage, we provide mortgage services that best suit your needs. Let us help you to find the right mortgage for you. Call us today on 0208-050-2478 for a better future awaits you. Binaco Financial Services Limited is directly authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
For SATs and 11+. All our courses are run by fully qualified teachers. Contact us on 0208 004 2610.
সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আসসালামু আলাইকুম। স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি TV3 বাংলার আজকের অনুষ্ঠানে। আমরা ছোট বিজ্ঞাপন বিরতির পর ফাতিহা বেগম এবং আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাইকে নিয়ে ফিরে এসেছি আজকের ট্রেনিং লাইফ স্কিলস এবং এডুকেশন অনুষ্ঠানে। আজকে আমাদের মূল প্রতিপাদ্য বিষয় হচ্ছে স্যাটস এবং 11+ এর সাথে শিক্ষার কি গুরুত্ব। আমাদের যে বোন ফাতিহা বেগম, তিনি পিজিসি করেছেন, এডুকেশনের উপরে ট্রেনিং নিয়েছেন এবং সোয়াস থেকে গ্রাজুয়েশন করেছেন এবং তিনি প্রতিকূল পরিবেশে তার সমাজের সাথে যুদ্ধ করে ভাষাগত যে অসুবিধা সেটা অতিক্রম করে শিক্ষা নিয়েছেন, গ্রাজুয়েশন হয়েছেন এবং দীর্ঘ 15 বছর ধরে আমাদের ডায়াসপারা, আমাদের কমিউনিটিকে সার্ভ করছেন এডুকেশন ডিসেমিনেশনের জন্য। আমি ফাতিহা বেগম আপনার কাছে যাচ্ছি, তিনি কেন এডুকেশন নিয়েছেন, কেন তিনি এটা নিয়েছেন জানার জন্য। ব্রাদার সিস্টার ফাতিহা, why you choose education, why you went for teaching? What was your motto?
Okay, brother. Well, when I was young, primary school, I used to be I was always the first person, always on the top, always finishing my work first, always the teacher's favorite, always. So for me, education was a natural path because I was the person helping my peers, helping the people struggling with their work. And my teacher, I was an asset to the class. And naturally, I thought to myself, a lot of students would say to me, "Oh, you would make a very good teacher, because you just explained this work to me very well."
At what age, sister?
This is from probably 6 or 7 years old.
Oh, very early age.
Yeah, primary school age. And in my mind, I always loved to help people, and that was from a young. I think this is my nature, how I was being one of the eldest in a big family.
So by choice, you are a teacher, not by chance teacher.
This is a choice I've made,
By
yes.
choice. That's great.
I said to myself, either I will be a doctor or a teacher. This is one of my two decisions. So I was academically...
So, in our society, most of the youngsters, they want to be engineer or doctor. And you choose between teacher and doctor, and you choose for the teaching route. That's great.
Yes, because as a woman, teaching is a natural passage for as a mother. Obviously, when I was young, I didn't know this, but I could see a lot of the teachers in the school setting were mainly women as well. And so it did make me think that it's a good profession to go into. And to be honest with you, I'm very happy I did this, because having children myself now, I can manage my career around their school timetable, around their life, around my children's life. So I chose this path because it's a very fulfilling, profession to have. And however, unfortunately, in our society, teachers are not very well
respected.
No, you have other countries where I have to say, in my family, most of my brothers' siblings are all teachers. I took the route to be the teacher, the first child, and my brothers and sisters followed me. So we have altogether.
So you are the role model for your siblings.
Yes, I am, because 4 of them are teachers.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, alhamdulillah. And the others are doing very well in other sectors as well. So not
so your mom and dad, they're really proud father and mother.
Oh, alhamdulillah.
They're bright children. I wish all the father and mothers are like your father and mother.
Alhamdulillah. No, we are 8 children, so it was very hard growing up. But being the oldest, I had to take the responsibility for my younger brothers and sisters, even their education, because my parents were not strong, as I told you, in the English language. So from a very early age, I did become a teacher for them. So teaching the younger ones, telling them what to study, what routes to take, what is the best way of life. Being a mentor. This is what we are lacking in our society, in our communities today. Having a mentor, and this, I believe, is more precious than having a teacher that has knowledge, because you can find knowledge, you can find all the work for 11+ SATs on the World Wide Web, on the internet. You don't really need a teacher to tell you how to do multiplication and division. Really, you can have a teacher to break it down for you, but the main role of the teacher is for the student to trust them and to know that they can ask them questions, and they will explain it to you, and it will stay with you, their explanation. So that's one thing I became a teacher for as well, because I wanted to guide people, and this is a good way of guiding young people.
My next question is to both Haque Bhai and Fatia Appa. Why you establish root learning? What was the aim and objective of this service?
Can I answer this question first? Is it okay, please?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. ওটা ছিল আমার ধারণা যে রুট লার্নিং আসলে ছোট ছোট একটা গাছে যেমন চারাকে যদি খুব ভালো করে পানি দেওয়া হয়, যদি তারা সানলাইট পায় তো ওটা স্ট্রং ট্রি হয়। ঠিক আছে,
আপনার এই যে লোগোটা দেখে আমি বুঝতে পারছি একটা চারা, রুট এবং রুট লার্নিং, সুন্দর লোগো হয়েছে হক ভাই।
Thank you. So it's chosen by my daughter. So what happened? So ওটা গাছটা কিন্তু শক্ত হয় এবং তাড়াতাড়ি বড় হয়। তাই আমাদের ছোট ছোট ছেলেমেয়েরা যখন আপনার প্রাইমারি স্কুলে পড়ালেখা করে, ওদেরকে যদি ভালোভাবে লিটারেসি নিউমারেসি শিক্ষা দেওয়া হয়, তাহলে ওরা ইন ফিউচারে তারা আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং করতে কমপ্লিকেশন থাকবে না। So it will help them in the foreseeable future to go to best school and to get real life knowledge and expertise from top universities. And like root learning রয়েছে, সবাই যে আপনার 11 প্লাস চান্স পাবে তেমন না, ওটার লাগে চেষ্টা। যেমন suppose in Bangladesh probably 200,000 people sitting for BCS examination, at least 10,000 they are going for Viva exam, 60 people becoming magistrate, probably about 3,000 going to get a first class job, another 7,000 Viva থেকে ফিরিয়ে আইব। এরা ম্যাজিস্ট্রেট না হলে হয়তো বাংলাদেশ ব্যাংকের ডেপুটি ডাইরেক্টর অথবা কোনো কলেজ অন্য কিছু হইব, they will get some similar job. So এরা যদি ট্রাই করেছে 11 প্লাসে তো নাও যাইতে পারেন, তবুও তারা অন্য সেক্টর যেমন অন্য সেটস এক্সাম হেল্প করবো, জিসিএস তে হেল্প করবো, they should try for it. আর 11 প্লাসের লাগে যেহেতু এটা এক্সট্রা এডুকেশন, এটা লাগে গভর্নমেন্ট লায়াবল না। গভর্নমেন্ট লাগে লায়াবল তো এলিমেন্টারি প্রাইমারি এডুকেশন under international law. They have to make sure everyone going to school up to 18. এটা হলো গিয়ে
can I take the call please?
Thank you.
প্রিয় দর্শক আসসালামু আলাইকুম। প্রিয় দর্শক আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
হ্যালো, আমি শুনতে পাচ্ছি না। হ্যালো,
আপনি কি আমার কথা শুনতে পাচ্ছেন বোন?
জি আমি শুনতে পাচ্ছি। হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
বলেন প্লিজ, ফাতিহা আপা অথবা হক ভাই আপনার প্রশ্ন জবাব দেবেন।
Do I have to speak English or Bengali is fine?
ফাতিহা আপা, আপনি কি ওনার বাংলা বুঝতে পারেন?
Please, you can speak in Bengali, but maybe I'll have to ask the brother clarify. Sorry about that.
আপা আপনি বাংলায় বলেন, আমি ফাতিহা আপাকে ইংলিশে বলে দেব বা হক ভাই বলে দেবেন। প্রশ্ন করেন আপা।
Okay.
বাংলায় বলেন।
My son is 11 years old. I tried for 11 plus exam last year, and then he didn't get chance into the 11 plus. But I would like to encourage him for the high school, all the subjects like three science, English, and maths, and other subjects. How could I encourage him? And do I need to get teacher for him for the maths and English, because he is big behind in English, especially comprehension things, and the writing, the skills is very bad. I felt so, but but my English is not good. I can speak all right, but I cannot rectify his writing, especially grammatical things. And also,
আপনি লাইনে থাকেন। ফাতিহা আপনাকে কোশ্চেন করবে, হক ভাই কোশ্চেন করবে, আমরা আপনাকে পূর্ণাঙ্গ অ্যাসেসমেন্ট করে একটা সমাধান দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করবো ইনশাআল্লাহ। আপনি লাইনে থাকেন, আলোচনা করে আমরা সমাধান আসার চেষ্টা করি। হক ভাই প্রথমে আপনি বলেন, তারপরে ফাতিহা আপা বলবে। হক ভাই প্লিজ।
I think Fatiha would be the right person to answer this question.
Fatiha, please.
Okay, sister. Oh, that's a very good question. And I'll talk about the English weakness first, because as Abdul Haque already elaborated, our Bengali community is not just the Bengalis, probably the ethnic minority are always struggling with the English subject, whether it's the writing, reading, comprehension, and maybe that's because maybe English is the second language, or we have other languages that we communicate in. We don't know the reason behind that, but a lot of studies do show that English is one of the weaker subjects. So I'll tell you the secret for how to improve English for your child is reading. Okay, every single day your child should have a passion for reading. They should love to read. How you can instill in them is find out their interests. Okay, find out what do they like, And from that, you can find books, you can find articles, magazines, anything that is related to what they would like first. Because
Sister Fatia, how long he should read? 5 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour every day?
no,
When?
this is what it is, sister, because I don't know how his routine is, but from a young age, from 4 years old, 3 years old, even from a baby, they should know, they should have a feeling of what a book is. So from there, it will grow their passion or their love for reading. So my daughter, she can read for 2 hours if the book is engrossing enough for her, and if it's of interest for her, you know. So it's all dependent on a child. But minimum, I would say, for students who are struggling, 30 minutes, you know, 30 minutes of straight reading, and not just reading just for the sake of reading, because some people, they can read, but they don't have an understanding of what they have read. So they can manage the reading part, but when you ask them, what did you just read? What do you understand from that? When you ask them comprehensive questions, you will not get the answers, and that is key. Every time a child
কলার বোন, আপনার বাচ্চা কি পড়ে? ফাতিহা আপা যেটা বলছে, মিনিমাম আধা ঘন্টা 1 ঘন্টা পার ডে পড়তে হবে। আপনার বাচ্চা কি এই রিডিংটা করে কোন বই?
He doesn't like reading books at all. He likes all this comic like Pokemons and like Minecraft, Roblox things. He doesn't.
So Fatia, what can she do? She's trying hard.
Yeah. This is a problem. Thank you, brother. This is the problem. I am really passionate about this, you know, because I think when a child has reading as a passion, they can explore anything in the world. They can learn so much if they have a love of, if they have the ability to extract information through reading. So that, I would say, sister, is your main goal and priority for your child.
How she can change her child's habit.
Because he wants to. Because you should have done this from primary level. From primary level, you should have. I'm not telling you off, but this is a problem for many parents, that they recognize this problem when it's too late. But you can still help him. What you need to do is, like I said, find out his interest. So you said to me his interest is maybe Pokemon and other cartoons. So what you have to do is tell him first, can you write about it? Can you give him a paper and say, can you tell me what it's all about? I don't know. I'm an adult. I don't know what this subject is. Tell me Pokemon, what is it? So he will use description, writing, so that you tell him to write about it. Then what you do is go to the library and find some books about the cartoon. You will have to, because you can't just make him love science overnight. You have to build from the basis that he is now. So find the book which interests him, take that book, and you say to him, as a rule, because you are with me, you are in my house, because some children, they don't like rules, but you have to put rules in your house and say, for this time, I expect you to read, start for 10 minutes, because he doesn't like reading, start for 10-15 minutes. Then later on, after a week, you say, okay, we're going to do 20 minutes now. And you have to build on that. Okay, sister, this is a really,
Sister Fatiha, if the caller sister show this page to his son, then just read this page. It's the history, it's the background of Pokemon.
Yes.
You read it.
Yeah.
Whether he will have any interest on this, Sister Fatiha?
That he will have interest on this. You need to find where it interests him. So find this page. I think you can do this tomorrow if you can get your child to find the Wikipedia page.
আমার যে কলার আছেন, আপনি কি শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
জি জি জি।
আপনি এই পেজটা বার করে আপনার ছেলেকে পড়তে দেন।
Interested on Pokemon. He knows every single thing about it.
এটা পড়তে দিয়ে লিখতে দিবেন যে তুমি পড়ে দাও, তোমাকে একটা পুরস্কার দেব। এই ফাতিহা বোন এই কথাই বলছেন যে ইন্টারেস্ট আনতে হবে, বকা দেওয়া যাবে না। খেলার ছলে, আনন্দের ছলে তিনি যেটা উপভোগ করে সেটা আপনার ছেলেকে দিতে হবে, বকা দিয়ে না। একটা বয়সে চলে আসছে, তার পছন্দ তৈরি হয়ে গিয়েছে, এই পছন্দকে শিক্ষায় আপনার রূপান্তর করতে হবে। বোন কি বুঝতে পারতেছেন?
Can I also add something there, brother? I wanted to say a very important point. Parents should have a relationship with their children where you don't separate education and your life. Your relationship should be very involved with your child, to the point that they whatever you want them to do, they will do it, but you're not forcing them to do it. They will do it because they have that relationship with you, and they you know, obviously they would respect you, but they would love to do it because you love them to do it as well. This is something that is missing in our communities at the moment, is the relationship between children and parents. If we can correct something like that, then our children will go far, because at the moment there's a disconnect between the parents and the children, especially regarding education. Because what parents do is they say, oh, child, I would like you to do this subject. I would like you to pursue this career. And nowadays, because the society is changing, children, they don't really want to. They have a problem with people telling them what to do. So really, you have to befriend your child, and you need to produce some kind of relationship with them where you. So for the sister, I would say to you, if you tell your son, oh, I would really like to know more about this Pokemon, because I would like to find out some of your interests. I would just like to know what you read about, or what you like. So can you tell me a bit? So can you show me? So you have to be a bit like acting. You have to do a bit of acting with your children to get them on your side. And do you understand what I'm saying to you, sister? This is what teachers do as well. So parents have to be like teachers as well.
আমি একটু ল্যাপটপে যাচ্ছি, আমার কলার বোন আপনি দেখেন, শুধু পোকেমন দিলে তো হবে না, আপনি কার্টুনের ইতিহাসটা দেন, এটা অনেক বড়। এইটা পড়ে একটা পুরস্কারের কথা বলেন, যে আমার বোন ফাতিহা বলছে আপনার বন্ধু হতে হবে, টিচারের রোলটা নিতে হবে। কলার কি আছেন আমাদের সাথে?
Yes, I am with you.
আপনি কি ফাতিহা আপা যেটা বলেছেন আপনি কি বুঝতে পেরেছেন?
জি জি, আমি বুঝতে
আপনাদের
পেরেছি।
ফাতিহা আপার কাছে আর কোনো সাপ্লিমেন্টারি কোশ্চেন আছে?
না, আপাতত নেই। এরকম আরো কয়েকটা প্রোগ্রাম করলে ভালো হয়। আসলে হঠাৎ
আমি
করে
ফাতিহা আপাকে বলবো হক ভাইয়ের সাথে আসতে।
রেডি করা নেই পুরা।
আমি খুব খুশি হয়েছি সিস্টার, আপনি যে কোশ্চেন করেছেন, আপনি একা না, শত শত মায়ের প্রশ্ন এটা। তারা কিন্তু শুধু আপনার ছেলে কার্টুন দেখে, অনেকে আছে গেম খেলে, মোবাইলে খেলে,
না, ওর
পড়তে চায় না।
কোনো নেশা নাই ওরকম ভাবে, কিন্তু ওই কার্টুন দেখে, পোকেমন ড্রয়িং করবে, পাওয়ার রেঞ্জার ড্রয়িং করবে, ওই রোবট ড্রয়িং করবে, ড্রয়িং এ খুব নেশা। বাট
আপনি একটু লাইনে থাকেন সিস্টার ফাতিহা। Her child have a passion for drawing. How can we convert this drawing to reading or literacy?
Yes, sister, what you have to do is you have to know your child. Some children, naturally, they are not strong in some subjects. When we are, as teachers, we can tell what student is strong mathematically, what student is creative, what is more creative, what student is more, more towards the history subjects, things like that. You have to know your child. Some parents, they push, I'm not saying you do this, but they push some subjects onto their children, but the child does not feel confident with that subject. So our job as parents is to guide them as much as we can with the subjects that we would like them to do. But really, at the end, our children will find a path for themselves of where they are strong in and where they would like to pursue their education. So I understand the sister said she would like her son to go more in the science area, the maths area, and he said to me that also he's not as strong in the maths area. So you can arrange extra tuition for your son. You can find, interesting maths games. There's so many games that they enhance your mathematical side of your brain if you do some maths problems. And you can find them on the internet. There's some books like Sudoku, all of these other number problems. And even for English, you can do word search, crosswords, things that are fun that he would like at his age. You have to find these types of activities surrounding like words, like fill in the missing blank, the fill in the words, those type of exercises.
ধন্যবাদ বোন আপনাকে কল করার জন্য। আমি সত্যি ধন্যবাদ দিচ্ছি ফাতিহা আপাকে। আপা যে আসছেন আমাদের সমাজের জন্য ভালো হচ্ছে। আমাদের বাচ্চার মাকে সবচেয়ে আগে শিখতে হবে, কারণ আমার বাচ্চার মা যদি না শিখে তাহলে তো আমাদের সমাজে আমরা আগাতে পারবো না। এই বাচ্চাটা অত্যন্ত ভালো বাচ্চা যে ফোন করেছিলেন, শুধু কার্টুন দেখা ছাড়া অন্য কিছু নেই। এটাকে কনভার্ট করা সম্ভব। কারণ ফাতিহা আপা যদি হক ভাইয়ের সাথে এসে একটা সেগমেন্টেও থাকেন, এই 10টা মাও যদি ভালো হয়, আমাদের কিন্তু TV3-র উদ্দেশ্য পরিপূর্ণ হবে। অনুষ্ঠানে আমরা একবারে শেষ পর্যায়ে চলে এসেছি। আমি কনক্লুডিং রিমার্কে যাব। আমি প্রথমে যাচ্ছি আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাইয়ের কাছে তার কনক্লুডিং রিমার্কের জন্য। আব্দুল হক চৌধুরী ভাই, প্লিজ।
Thank you for giving us a chance to speak. Fatia was a very knowledgeable person to answer most of the questions. So, short parent say advice that school are opening. We cannot let school close all the time. Government has to do something. যদি আবার যদি infection up or তাইলে আবার close হয়ে যাবে, অথবা they can take your children to hospital for testing. It's very, very important. You allow your children to maintain social distancing from the playing in the playground or in the classroom settings. It's also very important to maintain personal hygiene at home, outside, when their children or someone else. And আপনারা যদিও আমরা স্কুলে দিব, আমরা মারুফ যদি কিচ্ছু নাই, সেটা খাও, সরি পিঠা খাও, বাতের সমান নয়, সামথিং হলো একটা ওয়ার্ড আছে। So as a parents, আপনি make sure করতে হবে যে you allow them as much as you can so that they maintain social distancing, and then make sure they keep themselves clean at all times. They wash their hands when they needed. Zara, extra second, please, before I go. Just can I speak to something about one sentence about taxi driver, please? Is that okay?
Please.
Yeah. Those taxi driver applying for new license, okay? TFL or এখন কোনো max test open না, যারা আগে apply করছেন তারা একমাত্র examiner. So right now they are not taking any booking for max test examination. Most of the time people are asking me whether TFL going to extend the timing for their English qualification. I'm not government. You need to ring TFL, write to them and find out information from them, because it's them and they will make a decision about the extension. And that's it. Balata hoka, and you can go to further person, please.
সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আমি ফাতিহা আপাকে স্পেশালি ধন্যবাদ দিচ্ছি। তিনি এসে মাদের উদ্দেশ্যে যেটা বললেন, শিক্ষার গুরুত্ব যেটা বললেন, স্যাটস এবং 11+ পার্থক্য বললেন। আমি ফাতিহা আপাকে আমন্ত্রণ জানাবো প্রতিদিন যে সময় হক ভাই আসেন, একটা সেগমেন্ট হলো আসতে। আমাদের সমাজের মাদের জানা প্রয়োজন, অভিভাবকদের জানার প্রয়োজন। সিস্টার ফাতিহা, I like to thank you from my bottom of heart. We need this kind of inspiration. We need the dissemination of your teaching, your learning, your passion. May I invite you in every segment, please come for just a segment with Abdul Haq Bhai and say this. You have to say every time, all time. May I request you your concluding remarks, Sister Fatiha, please.
First of all, I would like to thank Allah for this opportunity. I think everything in life, is for a purpose. In my life, did I know that I would ever have a dealing with TV3 Bangla? Because for me, I did not think in my lifetime I would even marry the husband I have today. So many things happen in your life that you just don't plan. So I just have to say thank you for having me on your show, and you have been an inspiration to me as well, because we are trying to inspire our people who we are trying our very best to want the best for our future generation and ourselves. We're trying to better ourselves. And we are living proof that we are trying. And people nowadays in society, they're not trying, they're just living, and they're not trying to be higher than where they are. So I'm really happy that we are amongst people who want a better life, who want good for their children, and I would really welcome, and it would be my pleasure to come every week and do a segment for you. If it will help anybody, I don't mind. And just concluding about the education and the importance of education and what we've spoken about, SATs 11+, I would say to you, all parents, is Yes, examinations are really important. Achieving is really important, but really we need to save our children at this current situation where we're living in society. Maybe education is not the main goal for us in terms of how we're living. We need to know that our children are well in every aspect of their life, not just the education, but inside as well, how they are feeling inside, what their worries are, what their anxieties are. We're living in a time where our anxiety levels have actually increased. So we need to increase our connection. This is the parting advice I would give is all parents should work on having a connection, a strong connection with their children. Once you have a strong connection, you can guide them on any education path that you can both seek out together. And that will create a child who is confident in their life, a child who is fearless. They will not fall at the first hurdle because they know they have your support. So I'll just say good luck to everybody, and where you're pursuing with your children. As parents, we want the best for our children. So I pray for everybody to have a good connection with their children and a strong path for them to go on for the future. Okay.
সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আমাদের বোন ফাতিহা বেগম, ওনাকে আমি অন্তঃস্থল থেকে ধন্যবাদ দিতে চাই। কারণ কি, তিনি বাই চয়েস টিচার হয়েছেন। 5-6 বছর বয়সে তিনি চিন্তা করেছেন ডাক্তার অথবা শিক্ষক হবেন। তিনি জীবনে শিক্ষক হয়েছেন। শুধু চান্সের জন্য না, পেশার জন্য না, প্যাশন হিসেবে শিক্ষকতা নিয়েছেন। আমাদের এক বোন ফোন করেছেন তার বাচ্চার শিক্ষার অসুবিধা নিয়ে। ফাতিহা আপা কি বললেন যে মাদের শিক্ষক হতে হবে, বন্ধু হতে হবে, বাচ্চাদের পছন্দ অনুযায়ী করতে হবে। কথাটা আমার অত্যন্ত ভালো লেগেছে এবং এই কথাটার জন্য আমি প্রতিদিন বলেছি হক ভাই যেদিন আসবে TV3 বাংলার ট্রেনিং এবং এডুকেশন প্রোগ্রামে ফাতিহা আপাকে বলেছে আপনি আসবেন। আমি অত্যন্ত ধন্যবাদ। আপা বলেছেন আসবেন কারোর জন্য, কি সমাজকে হেল্প করার জন্য, TV3 বাংলার দর্শকদেরকে হেল্প করার জন্য। আমি স্যালুট করছি এরকম বোন যাকে দেখে তার 4 ভাই বোন শিক্ষকতায় এসেছে। উনি শুধুমাত্র নিজের জন্য না, তার পরিবারের জন্য রোল মডেল, সমাজের জন্য রোল মডেল। আমাদের এরকম আরো লোক দরকার যারা সমাজকে ইউজফুল কন্টেন্ট দিতে চায়। TV3 বাংলা একা না, আমরা ফাতিহা আপার মতো যে রোল মডেল আছে তাদের সাথে নিয়ে আগাতে চাই। সবাই ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন। আগামীকাল TV3 বাংলা দেখার আমন্ত্রণ জানিয়ে শেষ করছি। আল্লাহ হাফেজ।
Building foundations for greater minds. We deliver one-to-one online classes for SATs and 11+. All our courses are run by fully qualified teachers. Contact us on 0208 004 2610.